I'm calling from American Express. We are having here Mr. John Finnegan sitting in his... Who? John Finnegan. That asshole? Yes, madam. He is sitting here in this office with me now. That asshole? Where is he? Where did you say he was? I'm in Bombay, madam. In American Express. Bombay? In India? Is that where that asshole is? So that's where he got to. Madam, excuse me, I need you to please give identification. If you can only tell us, please, how does he look? How does he look? I'll tell you how he looks. He looks like an asshole, because that's what he is. He's an asshole. You just pull down your pants, you sit on a Xerox machine, you take a photo of that, you could put that in his passport, because he's an asshole. He looks like an asshole. He is an asshole. And he went, certainly, yes, madam. Thank you very much. I think we can take that as positive identification. Bless you. Thank you. I was mortified and relieved at the same time. The smuggler's life is a very, very strange life. But things happen to you along the way in this life that actually bring you into a very strange significance in your life. I mixed in this life with some people who, in the Bombay Mafia, did all sorts of activities. One of them happened to be an enforcer. Now, an enforcer is somebody who collects human beings who need to be persuaded to a particular point of view in a van which is specially equipped for the purpose. And that van has restraints inside it, and this was his job. I knew him. He was in charge of this unit. Now, there was a friend of mine named Bhaskar Jacobs. She's passed on now, God rest her, and I can use her name. Beautiful, wonderful woman. I used to describe her as a flower show of wild red hair with a gorgeous human being attached to it. She used to wander around Bombay. She was a fashion designer and a fabric designer, and lived in Bombay, this marvelous woman who, the kind of human being who raised the bar. She was so funny and so clever that all of us had to get on our game and get sharper just to keep up with her. Now, Bhaskar was Jewish, and she had an apartment in Kolaba in Bombay, and on the ground floor window, a nice apartment, on the ground floor window she'd written Shalom in Hebrew, and she had a 7-stick candelabra in the window. One day I went to see her, and some guys, had smashed the window and wrecked it, and with a spray can had painted "Die Jew Scum, Skins Rule OK" underneath it. And I went to see her and I said, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And she said, "Oh sure, I'm okay. You know, you get people like this, you know, it's the way the world is." I said, "No, this is terrible." And she said, "Oh, don't worry about it." I said, "Worry about it? This might happen again. I'm going to find these guys. Don't you worry about it." So I went off and I went to see my friend Bijan, who ran this protection unit. And I knew skins rule OK. You got to be English, and there's only 2 pubs that the skins would stay in Bombay. I knew those hotels. I knew all the hotels at the time. I knew all the hotel managers and the desk managers. They were all very good Bakshish friends of mine. So I went there and I found the hotel. And the guy said, "Yeah, those guys, they were boasting about it. They had a spray can. They brought all the way to do this, you know, this kind of stuff. And they had it with them." So they're in this room. I said, "Chavi, then give me the key." So we went there and we opened the door. And they were in there, these 2 guys. We brought them down and put them in the van and gagged them and had them in the restraints with the idea of persuading them that it wasn't a good idea to do this. We went to see Bhaskar. It was nightfall by this time, and I parked the van and I said with Bijan, I said, "We're going to go and I'll just give me a minute," because I thought I'm going to invite her to witness or she can choose what she's going to do with these guys. So I went there, and as I got closer to the apartment, I heard noise and commotion. I thought, oh no, something else has happened. I ran up, and there's a party going on. There's people pouring out and laughter and music. And I said, "Bhaskar, you okay?" And she said, "Hi, we've been waiting to see you. We're having a party." I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Hey, I'm not going to let..." Already the window is being replaced, by the way. People were painting Shalom on the new window. There's a candelabra put back up there, just as it had always been. She said, "I'm not going to let a few dumb guys rule my life." So what I decided to do is to invite the 200 guys I like to come around and have a party. So we're celebrating the good people, and we're just ignoring the bad people. That's just how it is, you know. I said, and she said, "Come on, enjoy the party." I said, "Just a minute, I've got something to attend to." So we went back to the van, and we drove these guys down to Chapati Beach, to the most desperate, quiet end of Chapati. And we took them out of the van, and Bijan said to them, "You know, if you do this business again in my city, we are going to take you and cut off your hands and play frisbee. I have to tell you, I've done this before. If you take a human hand by the thumb and you throw it, you know, it makes a fantastic frisbee. I have to tell you, if you throw it in just the right way, it'll come straight back to you. And we are going to do that. If you do any more of this racist business here in our city, Now you can run. I'm going to count to 10. My boys always come down here for knife throwing practice. So you got to count of 10. And if you are not past, see that stone there? My boys will catch you with knives. So the guys get their knives out. And they said, now you can 1, 2, 3. Choom! The guys took off and ran down the beach. I wish, and of course they went and they left the city, I wish that I could say that at that time in my life I'd had something of the wisdom, is what it really is, that Bhaskar Jacobs had had. Ignore the stupid, foolish people. Concentrate on the people who love you, the good people. I didn't have that then. I'd like to think my attitude was, stop these guys, don't let them do it again, punish them and so on. I'd like to think that as I've gotten older and as I've moved on, that every day my life starts to converge with Bhaskars. And not just with hers, but with every good and wise person I've ever known.